Welcome in Gettysburg. I'm Jake Flagater. I'm going to try to do some outreach today. Good morning. Can I ask you a few questions? Bad timing with a couple people walking around right as I'm starting, but decided to start a little bit early today. Nobody's probably going to be in here for a while, but I'm not sure how long it'll take to get some conversations going, but the traffic should pick up now around 10 o'clock. Make sure that I'm in view here. I just had a conversation with someone before my stream, and it was pretty good. He said he was going to think about his meal that he's going to eat later, probably get something vegan. He was religious, so he was interested in Christspiracy, which is pretty cool. He was open to them meaning different things. How's it going, Roya, Benji? There's a couple people here. That's cool. I'm excited for my first live stream here. Hopefully there's not too much downtime in between conversations. I'm going to try to keep them quick. I don't want to talk to one person for too long. I'm going to try to use AV's new protocol. Even though I don't have my tablet. I was trying to set up with my tablet so I can show footage, but I do have my other phone so I can show some footage off of that, but it's not the same video. Oh, there's somebody else here. What's up, Rachel? Sun's moving pretty quick this morning. I might end up moving. Now it's getting a little windy too. When I got here, there was no wind at all. I was flying my drone around. Earlier, got some cool drone shots when the sun was coming up. Oh, now the birds are here. They weren't here earlier. They always make so much noise. Cute dog. That's one thing I like about doing outreach here. There's a lot of people that walk their dogs. I saw Carnism Debunked was streaming with Gary Yourofsky. Thought that was pretty cool. Good morning. Can I ask you guys a few questions for my video?
Maybe when we come back.
All right.
All right, great.
Thanks. The Pink Panther. We'll get them when they come back. I saw those two walking around earlier when I was setting up. I got a whole bunch of stuff with me here today. So I brought some waters to give out to some people. It's supposed to be pretty hot. Some stuff from PETA, stuff from the Humane League. So I was talking to the guy before my live stream, and he was talking about why he would think about things like this or eating less meat, and he said it normally comes back to his health. So, and that's originally why I started eating less meat was based on my health too. So what about you guys? When you guys started eating less meat or became vegan or vegetarian, was it first like your health that got you interested, or was it the environment, or was it just ethics? It seems like most people are pretty selfish, and they think about these concepts first because of their health perspective. But then when you really look into it and you become a little bit more selfless, and you realize the ethics is the most important part. But how you doing? Can I ask you a couple questions? I don't think he could hear me. And now I don't think anybody's even in here. I asked the question, and it doesn't look like anybody's here. Oh, Ben says ethics. Yeah, that's the best reason for sure. I mean, that's why I went vegan, is because of ethics. But I started eating less meat because of my health. But good morning. Can I ask you guys a few questions for my video? I don't know what he said. Somebody walked by earlier, and I asked him that, and he went, like, tried to give me like the hand, but he didn't even have the strength to lift his hand up that high. He was just like, and he like wobbled away. Like, man. I drank a really tall coffee before I got here this morning, so that's why I'm kind of pacing back and forth. Yeah, the environment. Oh yeah, my question was, what got you to think first about like vegan concepts or eating less animals? So was it health? Was it the environment, or was it the ethics? So it seems like, you know, a lot of people go vegetarian, or they reduce their meat consumption. It's, from what I've seen, it's generally from a health perspective first. And then when they do more research, then people realize that the ethics are probably the most important. But most people say that factory farms are bad and then backyard farming is good. It's hard for them to admit that that's still bad. It's just might not be as bad in some perspectives, but it's still exploitative. It's still using the animal and not considering that animal at all, that individual. I wonder why my phone said that there's no one watching when you guys were still in there. Now it says 3 people, so that's cool. I'm glad there's a couple people in here. I thought I was going to have like nobody in my stream for a while. Look, oh, you can't see it. The double-decker bus is going by, full of people, but it's behind the UPS truck. I normally wave to them when they go by, and all the people wave at me. It's funny. The sun's moving quick. I'm probably going to move over there soon. Yeah, this is a slow start. It took almost two full days before I could live stream after I got 50 subscribers. It said it should only take 24 hours, but it took way longer. But I'm glad I can finally live stream. Hopefully it's not very choppy. My video is not lagging choppy at all, is it? I'm kind of worried about that too. Yeah, right. So you had to do a paper on palm oil and orangutans. Yeah, there was multiple points through my life that I can look back on and realize like how I felt in that moment about animals was a very vegan's like perspective on life, you know. So I definitely can see how everyone's kind of got their own story, and some of them are really fascinating. And there's normally like an animal, like a specific animal that people bonded with that made them do more research. Like my cat was the one for me that kind of started it. But then I had pet rabbits, I had a pet mouse. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can I ask you guys a few questions?
Yeah, we're good, thanks.
So yeah, when you have other animals, like I had a bunch of birds when I was younger too. Chickens, turkey, then rabbits, mice. Like you just realize how awesome all the animals are. They're all different. Hey Chip, awesome. Thanks for being here. You're the main reason why I'm able to go live so quickly. Between you and Jeremy and Jimmy, Vegan Sign Guy, you guys all shouted out my channel and more than doubled my subs. So thank you guys. Kind of a slow start this morning, but I wasn't really expecting much traffic until after 10 o'clock. And then later at 11, the rest of the shops open, or restaurants, so there should be more people then too. But I have my mic put to my shirt. There's just a lot of trucks that are going through that interfere with it. And then I have my other mic clipped down on my belt that I'm going to give to other people when I talk to them, so they have a mic they can talk into. I don't have a sign, but I do have some stuff laid out. I think you can see it there. I think it's around 10 o'clock, 10:10. So a lot of the shops just opened. I had a couple conversations when I was setting up. I did make a sign that I was going to hold or like place. And I got these NFC chips that I was going to put on the sign so people could scan them, but it didn't work right. How you guys doing? Can I ask you guys some questions? Bad timing with the FedEx truck rolling its door up. How you guys doing? Can I ask you a few questions? That's normally what I do, just ask people as they walk by. It should be going through my mic. Can you hear me out here when I'm out here talking? Yeah, it's 10 a.m. I turned my mic down a little bit from the last time I was out here because they just sounded a little too high. The birds get loud too. Now I'm in the sun already. Good morning. Can I ask you a few questions? How you doing? Can I ask you a few questions for my video? No luck yet. Should have got a smaller coffee. I feel like running some laps around the circle. Yeah, sign. Yeah, I want to either fix my sign that I was making, or I'll have some stuff soon. So I just became an organizer for We the Free. So I'm gonna set up a small chapter out here in Gettysburg. So they're gonna send me some stuff. But I kind of want to make my own thing too. I like how you guys have cards to give out to people. So right now I just wrote some stuff on my folder and people are just taking pictures of it. But I want to give them something to have. So that's why I brought waters and I brought some coins. I might give people coins. Can I ask you guys a few questions? Yeah, they just ignored me again. Most people are pretty friendly though. You know, they'll just say, no thanks. How you doing? Can I ask you a few questions?
So,
Can I ask you a couple questions for my video?
I was on my way to go make some money, bro.
Yeah, oh, that's cool. You don't have a couple minutes?
Not right now. I'll be on the way back. On the way back.
All right, cool. Thanks.
But no, what's about?
Just about animals.
Animals?
Yeah.
I'm like cats and the dogs.
Yeah.
All right, that's energy, bro. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool, I'll see you. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Can I ask you a few questions for my YouTube?
Busy exercise.
Centos guy. The Centos guy right here. I talked to you before. How you doing? Good. He told me a story about his dog named Pork Chop. It's one of my first days I was out here. I was just packing up, or I was going to do one more conversation, and my camera was pointing more towards the center, and he backed up like right into my view. So I was just going to wrap up, and he came out the back door, and I said, just jokingly, hey, can I ask you a few questions? And he was like, yeah, sure. I can talk to you while I'm working. So instead of just wrapping up, I actually asked him a few questions while he was like working. And it was kind of interesting. It was cool, but yeah, video equipment and stuff. Yeah, I'd like to do like the 3-minute challenge, give out some food and all types of stuff like that, but yeah, waters are good. I wish I brought waters last week when it was a little hotter, but I have these, they're Eisenhower dollars. So yeah, it's a coin, it's money, but it's like, it's kind of cool. It's not regular money. How you guys doing? I think I already asked them and they said no. Every day I come out here, I start recognizing people that I already asked once, and I don't want to bother them. So if they just ignored me the first time, then I don't normally ask them again. But then I start thinking that I already saw them, or I can't remember if I saw them or not, and already asked them. So it's kind of funny. But yeah, definitely want a little sign. Or I thought about also just playing some footage, kind of. And maybe that would attract people to come over and but I have my other stuff. I was trying to get everything connected, like my tablet and my other phone. I wanted to be able to look at my live stream on my other phone so I could see the chat and without having to come over here. Yeah, some happy footage. That would be nice. That's a good idea. There's a sanctuary not too far from here that I'd like to go check it out one day. I could live stream. Eat some animals. I think that would be really cool. I think there's two around here actually. I think one of them used to be open to the public but isn't anymore. I think the other one still is, but I gotta do a little bit more research into this. That's another feed truck. That's like the third or fourth giant feed truck that I've seen go through just this morning. Are there horses in there? No, it looks like it might be empty. It's got something small. Good morning.
Good morning.
Would I be able to ask you a few questions for my video?
For a video?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube.
No, not on now.
All right, maybe if you come back.
Okay. What's in reference to?
Just animals.
Animals?
Yeah.
I can talk all day with you about animals.
Yeah, right, me too. Yeah, that's what the last guy said when I was talking to him. He's like, we could debate this for hours. But is it really much of a debate, or is it just like people trying to justify the horrible things that they do? Good morning. Would I be able to ask you a few questions?
Sorry, my meter, I'm running out of time.
Meter.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. The meters. I don't think the meters take a dollar coin. Oh boy. Yeah, so the guy I talked to right before my live, he said he was gonna go choose the vegan option when he goes to eat next. And he was gonna do some more research. So that was my first conversation, and it was a good one, so that's awesome. I'm happy if I can have one good conversation when I come out. Then I feel like I did something beneficial, you know? What's up, PJ? Oh boy, so I wanted to have a conversation here before I moved. Plus, if I move over there, I don't know if I can lay my stuff out like this. going to be one of those days where there's nobody walking by, and then everyone's going to walk by at once. Or as soon as I start a conversation, there's just going to be people all over the place. That's what always happens. And most of my streams I'll probably do later in the either start them later in the morning or maybe around like noon. So like I said, everything opens by 11, which is in a little while. But then around noon and 1, I think is like the highest traffic. So I can go until 3:30. There's one of the buses. They're pretty cool. How you doing? Can I ask you a few questions for my video?
Sure.
All right. Do you want your own mic? You can talk into there.
Okay.
So I'm Jake. Are you
Hi,
guys?
Bill.
Bill? Are you local?
No, we're from Connecticut.
Oh, cool. The last person was from Connecticut too. So just have a few questions. First one is, how do you feel about animals?
I like animals, yes. And
So what's like the first animal that comes to mind?
dogs and cats and pets.
Yeah.
And
Do you think that we can respect animals if we are eating them and eating eggs and dairy?
isn't that what it's for? Everything that creeps, crawls, and walks upon the earth is for our consumption?
Yeah, do you think that animals are here for us?
Yes.
Okay, so what about cats and dogs then? Do you think
If it were a requirement, I believe there wouldn't be a problem with it. But since we're in a position to where they are our companions, would they give us a service more than just a food source?
right? So yeah, that's interesting. So do you think that you're against animal abuse? Like,
I'm against physically abusing an animal, beating an animal, treating an animal poorly.
yeah. Do you think that there's abuse in animal agriculture? Like in
I
those
believe
industries?
there's abuse in everything.
Yeah.
Somewhere you'll find abuse of some sort. What someone might consider abuse, what you might not consider abuse.
So if you're against abuse, but you think that there's abuse in those industries, does that seem a little bit hypocritical?
Well, that's why these things are regulated by larger bodies. What I think doesn't really matter in the bigger scheme of things. You know, there is still a requirement for feeding, to eat.
Yeah.
In
So
my
do
opinion,
you think we have to eat animals?
in my opinion, a vegetable-based diet doesn't provide you the things that you need to live a healthy life.
Yeah.
There is a requirement for a meat-based, in my belief, there is a requirement for a meat-based diet to reach your physical potential.
Would you be open to being wrong about that?
Of course.
So
But since mankind started eating meat, not even cooked meat,
mankind started eating plants.
they didn't start as a dietary. They started eating plants right off. The first thing they ate was plants.
Yeah, pretty sure the first
They
thing.
didn't grow their plants. They ate
they
wild
foraged.
plants.
Yeah,
They followed what animals did. And
Right.
they ate animals as animals
Yeah.
did.
Most animals also eat plants.
Yes, and most animals also eat meat.
No, it's about 75% of animals are herbivores. They eat only plants.
Okay?
Yeah, so,
And those are the food for the meat eaters.
well, you can survive and thrive on a plant-based diet. There is research out there that's proven that.
But that just seems to be a specialty thing.
You think eating plants
so
is a specialty thing?
Just eating plants only because you consider it's cruel to animals, to eat animals?
You don't think it's cruel to eat them?
No, I think it's a physical requirement.
So there's studies out there that prove that wrong, though. So it's not
Okay, so are
necessary.
you saying that the genetically modified vegetables are the only way that we can get our food source? Because
No,
a
you can.
mass amount of food that is genetically modified is what people are providing. So now
Yeah,
you're saying we should all go to a agrarian culture to where we grow our own food to be guaranteed that we're getting the nutrient that we should have?
I mean,
So
not
that's not
necessarily. I
progressive.
mean,
That's-
what do you think the animals eat?
They eat the grass that we provide for them.
Yeah, they eat the plants. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's mostly soy and corn,
Okay.
grains that
Well, they could
that
just
we
eat
grow.
grass, technically. The
And-
cow could eat grass and thrive.
Yeah, but they wouldn't get nice and fat and
Well,
Make
I
as
think they
much
would.
money.
The whole 1800s was about
So-
cattle drives where people were eating steak that ate grass-fed steak.
yeah. But to feed the population now, we've just gone 90% of animals are now factory farmed, so they don't
Yeah.
even really go outside. So they just cut the grass and bring it in and feed them inside. But
Yep.
to
Well,
fatten them up, they got to feed
we
them a
have
lot of grain.
industrialized our food process to accommodate people that can't grow their own food.
Right. Yeah, so it's the same thing, even growing plants. Not everyone would be able to grow their own plants and everything.
Where was the vegetarian movement 100 years ago?
Well, people have been having this debate for thousands of years. There's been people that have lived off of only plants. It's always kind of been a thing.
Yeah,
Meat's more new. Eating meat is more new, and it actually started because it was more of like on holidays, or they would sacrifice animals for special events.
The earliest man cracked bone and ate marrow.
They ate plants.
But they also cracked bone and ate marrow.
Yeah, but they didn't hunt. Maybe if
They didn't hunt?
scavenge
Who didn't
and find it.
Earliest
Earliest man, they didn't have tools and stuff like that to hunt. It was hard. It's hard to
So,
hunt an animal, and it's dangerous.
But they also
So they
organized, like,
mankind started
farming
growing
hasn't
plants.
been around as long as hunting man has.
Even when we started
We
to
didn't
eat
grow
animals were only
We've
a small
grown. How long have we
percentage.
grown grain? 15,000 years? 10,000 years? Not even. 7,500 years? Been
Yeah, I'm
eating-
not sure.
And
I
so
don't know
what
the
did they do?
exact
Just
dates,
walk around
but-
and eat the berries that they could find?
Yeah, they foraged.
So you're
So
saying they didn't eat meat at all?
Yeah, from all my research that I've seen, man started eating
Okay.
plants,
I don't.
and then when we
I
started
don't-
eating meat, it was only a small percentage of what we eat. And even now, most people get most of their calories from other products.
Yeah, but I think meat's necessary. Meat's
Do
necessary.
your own research into it.
I have. I'm
And-
56 years old. I've been eating meat my entire life,
Right.
and I don't see any.
There's research out that's come out in the past 10, 15 years, and they keep doing it, and it gets better. So there's research.
The Bible says anything that creeps, crawls, and walks upon the earth is here for our consumption.
Right. Once he introduced sin into the world. So the Garden of Eden was vegan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Jesus
So-
paid for our sins, so we could eat meat.
So you think that justifies abusing animals?
Well, if you put it in a victimization, this is a victim, this is an oppressor. If you
Yeah.
want to put it like that, I'm an oppressor to tasty animals. So
Right.
and I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Because I've had a lifelong
Yeah.
meat eater, barbecues on the weekends, hot dogs, hamburgers, chicken wings.
You can have all that
The
plant-based
basic-
though.
No, it's not. It's not a chicken if it's plant-based.
Right, but it's similar.
It's a chunk of soy.
Most of the stuff that you put on your chicken
similar to
is
sex, but it's still not the same thing.
yeah, but all the stuff you put on chicken to make it taste good
I
is
don't put a lot on chicken. to make it taste
Seasonings.
good other than salt and pepper.
yeah. Well, you
I'm
put salt and
basic.
pepper on plants too,
I-
right?
Yeah, I put salt on salad sometimes.
Yeah.
But I see no need for a purely plant-based diet.
You said you were against animal abuse, but you think that it's okay.
Purely vegetables and became Mr. Olympia 7 times.
Yeah, yeah.
Or anybody that's
Yeah, so do research. Did you know that he's plant-based? He's plant-based. Arnold Schwarzenegger is
now,
plant-based.
right now.
Yeah,
right
well,
now he's plant-based.
he's been
Not as-
plant-based
not
for a
as
long
long.
time.
not in the early 70s as a bodybuilder.
Yeah, look it up. Look it up.
Okay.
Look it up.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really funny. You use him as
that's
an
great.
example.
Okay,
He's a
yeah,
great
so
example. He really is.
Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger's a vegan. Okay, great.
So was the strongest man in the world.
There's a few other million men, other and women and children that eat meat. There's nothing wrong with eating meat.
There's more top athletes that are vegan than not vegan, if you want to compare it like
but there's
that.
nothing wrong with eating meat.
If you eat too much meat, then it's bad for your health.
If you eat too many vegetables, it's bad for your health.
Yeah, but
Everything in excess is bad for your health. But there's nothing wrong with eating meat.
you said
Are you going to keep a cow as a pet?
I could. Why not?
Are you?
They're like grass puppies.
Are you going to keep a cow as a pet?
I might one day.
Might.
I don't have the space for it right now.
Well, then what else are you going to do with it?
Not bring them into existence just to kill them.
Okay, so then they shouldn't exist just because
We want them to.
you don't want to be cruel to them?
Yeah, it's unnecessary. So,
I don't believe it's unnecessary.
but you said you'd be open to being wrong about
I
that.
would be open to being wrong about that.
So
yes, but you're
there's
not
studies
proving
out there
I'm
that
wrong about
I'm not
that.
going to pull it up and show it to you, but
Studies and stuff like that don't matter because they could be swayed.
sure.
You know?
But you can also look into that too. Who's actually doing the studies?
3/4 of the people I know that eat meat are perfectly healthy. And any sickness they have is not because they eat meat.
So would you agree that heart disease, cancer, and like heart attacks, I think, are like the top
agree
three?
That genetically modified vegetables don't give you the nutrient that you deserve. So now you're talking about going back.
I mean, if you want to just look at the nutrition, the plant-based meats, even the ones that are like genetically modified, they normally have less saturated fat than the meat substitute. So your risks for certain cancers and heart disease are less.
Okay.
So
then you have fluoride in your water, and then you have there's a lot of things that are bigger concerns.
But how does any of that justify abusing animals? Because you said it yourself that you're against abusing animals,
so
but
if
then
the farmer drags the thing behind his truck, beats it over the head with a hammer.
yeah,
Okay, I might have a little issue with that, but it's still going to taste the same. You know, tell me about it. You know, there's that separation. But what do you consider cruel? That's
Right.
also an issue.
Could I show you a little bit of footage from what most of the animals go through?
To punch something up
I have it right on here.
well, I don't think it really matters. Do they use the air spike that goes through their head? I don't think that's very cool.
Yeah, the bolt gun, that's supposed to be the most humane.
That seems pretty humane compared to, what halal meat do. They just kind of cut its throat and let it bleed in the parking lot.
Yeah, I agree that,
a dairy issue also where you don't drink milk?
Yeah, so everything from dairy even to eggs, they kill dairy cows in the standard process, and they kill chickens in the standard process for eggs. So even from the very beginning, we forcibly impregnate them, right? So they can't choose anything
So
from.
now they need a choice. All right, yeah, it's interesting.
Do you think that we should
successful in your vegetarian diet?
Do you think that it's a vegan diet and it's a vegan
diet, yes.
lifestyle?
Well, now these things are industrialized to maintain the people that we have, and there's certain requirements that are just necessary. It's necessary.
It's
necessary to drill into the ground to get oil. It's
and
necessary to maintain what a dairy cow certain process. You don't agree with it?
It's inefficient.
Okay.
So
when we're talking efficient.
Well, that's what you just said.
You still don't agree with.
It's inefficient because it's about 10 calories that we feed a cow,
It's okay.
or just in general, an animal. 10 calories in
they provide
to 1. We get 1 calorie out for 10 calories that we feed them, and like I said, it's
more than we take from them.
10 times. Yeah.
10 times. I wish I got 10 times the pay for the amount of work I did.
Yeah. So you know what we could do? Eat plants instead, and you make it 10 times more efficient.
Then the cows starve to death because we take it. We got some things to do around town. It's good talking to you.
So this is the humane.
There's.
Humane
I'm
slaughter.
sure there's something. Well, I'm sure they kill a bunch of ground critters to make vegetables.
Yeah, but we don't.
Moles, weed, anything in the ground.
It's a way smaller amount, and that's not specifically killing those animals.
No,
that's
you're
just
specifically killing animals in your garden.
You're not going out there trying to kill the animals. It just happens. When you eat meat, you have to kill an animal to eat the meat.
You do.
Yeah. To grow plants, most of those animals,
sacrificed so that people can live.
It's not necessary. Most of the animals in a field, when you harvest the plants, they just leave and come back.
Since the beginning of time.
We've been eating plants since the beginning of time.
We've also been eating meat since the beginning of time.
Not true. Can I ask you guys a few questions? So I don't normally debate people like that, but he just kept going, so I was just kind of going with him. What's going on, Martin? Yeah, he didn't want to look at the footage though either because he doesn't want to admit to himself that he's wrong. Yeah, he just kept getting way off track. It's like it's hard to kind of get back to the ethics when people do that. And those kind of conversations, I'm not going to let them drag out. But there wasn't too many people walking by, so that's the only reason I let it go a little bit longer. But I'm hoping we can get a couple of good conversations now. Should be more people walking around. His wife was sitting here and she was listening to everything I was saying, and you could tell she was thinking about what I was saying a little bit more than he was. So I had all my questions pretty much memorized, but now when I'm talking to people, I'm like totally forget them. Go bring this up a little higher. Was the audio good on that one? Yeah, I was looking at it earlier, like, I had them all memorized too. And then, yeah, I need like a couple of those like questions that can just anchor the conversation back to what it was. But yeah, I mean, you guys can tell that nothing was going to change his mind. He was just one of those guys that said he'd be open to being wrong, but then he just kept saying it's necessary, it's necessary. So he clearly wasn't open to being wrong about that. There's a bunch of people standing right over there. How you guys doing? Would I be able to ask you a few questions? To the dogs. Gonna wait for a few more minutes and then I might move over there. See if I can get another conversation going. Good morning. Can I ask you a few questions for my video? Sure. Awesome. Here, you can talk into this mic.
Oh, wait. What? A video?
Yeah, it's a video. It's for my YouTube channel. It's my first live stream, so I only have like a handful of people watching it.
What I asked you about?
Well, my first question is, how do you feel about animals?
love animals.
Yeah, you love animals?
Yeah.
So how do you feel about exploitation that humans do to animals?
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, you don't agree with it?
We need to find better ways. Yeah.
Yeah, so you agree we should respect animals.
Yes.
Do you think that we can respect animals if we eat milk, eat eggs and drink milk and eat the flesh of the animals?
No, not the way that it's done now.
Right. I appreciate you saying that. Do you know what the definition of living vegan is?
Yes.
Are you vegan yourself?
No, but
No.
I was for many years.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. So, you know, the definition is it includes a plant-based diet, but it extends also to the fashion industry,
Yeah.
and other bath products, beauty products,
Yeah.
things that are tested on animals.
Yeah.
So, if you want to respect animals, what's stopping you from living vegan yourself? Why did you?
I started introducing a little bit of animal products again because of health issues. that I'm
Right,
dealing
right.
with. So what I was doing wasn't working, and so I was willing to.
Yeah. So how long were you vegan for?
About 5 years.
5 years. Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
But I have a lot of autoimmune and other health issues, and so
Right.
really I just.
Is that why you started it in the first place?
No, I started it beforehand just because I was on and off vegetarian since I was like a teenager, and then went full vegan. And I don't think the veganism hurt my health. I just, at this point in my life, was trying to figure out if there's any way I can eat that's going to help my disease. So.
Right.
Yeah.
And you thought, and are you getting better outcomes now that you introduced animals back into it? Like,
I don't
or
know
is it
yet. It's too early to tell.
Oh wow! So it's
Yeah.
like sudden,
Yeah.
like recent. Okay. So were there other steps that you took when you were vegan, like to try to see if you could, you know, change some things around a little bit to make your diet, make that work as a diet? Like,
Yeah. Again, I don't know if it's diet. I don't know if diet is going to change anything, but
Yeah.
I'm just trying different things. But yeah, I totally agree with what you're doing, and I'm happy you're doing it. I used to do the same thing
Right.
on videos, but
yeah.
I've done, you know, I've stood out and held signs and all that, and I don't agree with how we treat animals. And
But now you're supporting it again.
I know, yeah.
Oh, that's
I don't
sad.
feel good about it, but
Yeah.
I got to do what I got to do to survive. And
Have you heard of Challenge 22?
I don't think so.
If I gave you some resources, would you try to live vegan and align your actions back with your morals?
I will eventually go back to vegan if nothing changes. You know, so.
If you were in their position, how fast would you want this to stop? You know, from the animal's
Immediately.
perspective.
Yeah, I know, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of a hard question, I guess. How many more animals should be exploited for you? Should it really be 0 or more than 0?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I put a lot of thought into this too. I don't like doing it, but
Yeah.
that's where I am right now. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Just take this information here. This is challenge22.com.
I've
At least-
watched the menu.
At least check that out. They give you a different challenge every day.
Okay.
For 22 days. You can talk to a nutritionist and make sure that you're getting everything that you need. Maybe they can help you with something that was overlooked by other people.
Yep.
But yeah, check that out and you know, don't forget about the animals. Every time you make that decision, you know. And if you live vegan again and you want to come out and help me do some activism, I'm starting a local group here. So
I just moved here like 2 days ago.
yeah, there you go.
Alright.
So that's my YouTube channel too. So if you want to check it out, you can see our conversation and
Okay.
yep. What did you guys think about that one? I got through a lot of the questions, but she's just got her health thing. So I don't want to like push it too much. She knows, but she's doing it anyway. Kind of suspect. How you doing, sir? Would I be able to ask you a few questions? Should I move or should I stay? I should have gave her a water. I totally messed up. How you doing, sir? Can I ask you a few questions?
What's up, dude?
Can I ask you a few questions for my video?
Oh, okay.
For video?
Yeah.
Here, you can talk into that mic.
Should I hold it?
Yeah, just hold it.
Where do I look? At you?
Yeah, or the camera's over there.
Okay.
I'm Jake.
Hi, Jake.
Are you a local to Gettysburg? Or?
I live in Gettysburg, yes.
Cool,
I live
cool,
in the
cool.
borough.
So how do you feel about animals?
Okay, I'm good, man. Thank you.
You don't want to talk?
I'm a teacher, so I got it.
Oh, but you don't want to respect animals? He's a teacher. What does that have to do with anything? He's like, I'm a teacher. I can't talk about animals. Like, that's crazy. I understand the people that are in uniform and stuff. Good morning. Can I ask you a few questions for my video? Yeah, ex-vegans. She sounded like she was vegan for her morals and ethics, right? Because she said the health things kind of happened after she was vegan. So that's really strange. Most people that I've seen that go back on being vegan, they normally got into it for their health, right? And then they go out of it for their health or whatever. And it's normally because, what, they weren't eating enough? So, hopefully she looks into that and reaches out to somebody. But that's cool. She just moved here like 2 days ago. I don't think she took a picture of my folder though, so I doubt she's gonna check out my stuff. So when I start talking to people, if they look over here, they can see what I'm going to talk about. It says vegan, really big on that on the one paper. So most of the other days I was here, I didn't really have anything out, so people didn't really know what I was going to talk about. But now they can kind of see it. I think maybe I should move over to that other corner. She was talking a little quiet. I think she had her mic kind of low, so I'm glad that audio wasn't bad. Is my audio too loud? Like, is it a big difference when I have it like down here or I have it like up here? So I feel like my audio was a little loud in some of my last videos.
So when you get
That's funny. That guy looked at me. He's like, "You're small. You eat plants. You're small."
Okay.
I was smaller when I ate meat. Yeah, she was holding hers pretty low. And I try to talk loud because I want you guys to hear me, because I've seen the low talkers and I know the audio isn't very good. How you doing? I was just getting in the car. As she was walking by. Alright, here's some people coming back that said they would stop. Let's see if they come back or they just walk in the hotel. And it looks like they're just walking in the hotel. No? They forgot about me. That's unfortunate. I wanted to talk to them. So the last time I was here, there's a restaurant right behind the camera. And I had that really long conversation with somebody here for like over an hour and a half. And the two younger guys that work in the restaurant came out and they were like, what were you doing out here talking to that guy for so long? So I kind of showed them. And one of the kids took some information. And the other one just was like, oh, and walked away. But the other guy said he was going to check my channel out, so he might be watching. But then we came back, me and my family came back here and we got some vegan burgers. They're pretty good. They didn't have any cheese. So maybe in the future they'll get some vegan cheese. But they had a few options. Somebody's flying their plane over. In my town, there's a guy that has a little plane like that, and he every single time it's really nice outside, kind of like today, he flies his plane over. It's got like a red stripe or something on the back of it. I want to figure out whose plane that is, because I see it all the time, and I know the sound of it too. Oh, the teacher's coming back. That guy. There's another feed truck. It's so crazy. And there's another one too. That's like six giant feed trucks I've seen this morning. I was expecting the foot traffic to pick up a little bit by now. It's still kind of slow. Thanks, UK. Yeah, like I said earlier, I'll probably try to do most of the streams a little bit later in the morning or like early afternoon. But that's just the only time I had to get out here today. So good morning. Can I ask you a few questions? You okay being on my YouTube video?
Can I go put this in the car real quick?
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Thanks. Good morning. Can I ask you a few questions? All right. So many people. How you doing? Good morning. Can I ask you a few questions? That kid's being eaten by a shark. Good morning, sir. Can I ask you a few questions? Oh, he's leaving. Why is that guy just walking back and forth? The teacher. He's lost or something. What do you think he teaches? Hey, vegan sign guy. Thanks a lot for shouting me out. Wouldn't be able to be live if it wasn't for you and Chip and Jeremy. You guys helped me out a lot. So I appreciate that. So I had a good conversation when I was setting up right before my live. So I did record it, but it wasn't on my live, so I'll post that later. And then I had a pretty confrontational conversation. So he was so set on needing animals to survive. He didn't want to be wrong about that. I just asked her, right? feeling the shade a little bit because of this tree. I don't know if I want to stay here longer. Another dead zone. Oh, look at that big dog. He might be coming over here too. These guys. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good.
Can I ask you a few questions for my video?
What's up?
We got a couple questions about animals.
About animals?
Yeah. You guys like animals? No, not really.
No.
You can talk into that mic. I'm Jake. Are you guys local?
No.
No, oh, that's cool. Where are you guys from?
Connecticut.
Oh, Connecticut? That's 3 people in a row from Connecticut.
No, right here?
That's crazy. Yeah.
Walking right by?
Yeah. The last 2 people I asked were both from Connecticut too. So, yeah, my first question is just how do you feel about animals? And do you have any pets? No. How do you feel about humans exploiting animals for our benefit?
Exploiting?
Yeah, exploiting. So, like, we just, in some of these industries, we just use animals as a product, and we make decisions only for ourselves without considering the animal. So do you think that that's respectful?
I don't think so.
Do you think that we should respect animals?
Yeah.
They deserve that?
Yeah, they have their own. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you know what the definition of veganism is?
No.
So if you live vegan, it means that you respect animals and you agree that animal exploitation is wrong. So we boycott those industries. We don't participate in any industries that abuse animals. So we don't eat any meat. We don't eat any eggs or any dairy.
Okay.
So we choose the plant-based option instead.
I see.
So if you want to respect animals, what would stop you from being vegan?
That's a good question. What would stop me from being vegan?
Yeah. Why aren't you vegan? Because it seems like your heart's in the right place, right? You're against animal abuse.
Yeah.
And you want to respect animals. But I don't think that we can respect animals when we're eating them and we're taking things from them, right?
Yeah. It's nice having a good steak every once in a while.
Yeah, it is. I agree. But we can have steaks made from like mushrooms.
Oh yeah.
They're pretty good. Or there's other plant-based steaks that they make.
Yeah.
That actually are, a lot of them are more beneficial health-wise too because they don't have the saturated fats in them. So,
Yeah.
if you want to take any information here, you can take any of this stuff. or take a picture of this, and you can see my channel and watch our conversation back or see other conversations similar.
Okay.
And all these different documentaries will show you different things in the industry, a little bit about your health, and a little bit about religion too, if you're religious. The one on the bottom.
Well, thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you very much. All right. How did you guys like that one? That was a good one. That was short and right to the point. So he seemed like he had a very open mind, and I didn't give him a water. I like your hat. I like your hat. Yeah. How you guys doing? How y'all doing? Good. Can I ask you a few questions?
We're good.
Can I ask you a few questions? All right. Well, at least we got people walking by now. This is more normal. How you guys doing? Can I ask you a few questions? How are you doing? No takers. That sucks. Yeah, that's crazy. A lot of people come here from the Northeast. Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Maine. What's this guy doing? Just walking around. How you doing? Good. Can I ask you a few questions for my video?
I'm kind of busy right now. I'm probably going myself.
All right. He didn't look very busy. So he's just waiting for somebody or something. Let's see. Yeah, right, lack of trolls. Got 10 likes and 9 people, that's cool. Getting some views. I'm glad I didn't live stream and get like 2 people, you know, or 0. But hopefully they get better. I know I'm not as good as Chip or Jimmy, but I'll get there. Oh, thought she was coming this way. She went the other way. Oh no. It stays windy, I'm gonna have to put my stuff away. Oh my god, that's funny. How you doing? They look too young. Did you guys hear that horn? That was pretty funny. Good, how are you? Can I ask you a few questions? A lot of people say that. Oh, I'm gonna go get some food. I should be like, this is about food. You think that would draw them in? It's about food. It'll just take a second. 5 fully vegan restaurants. Yeah, I was in Vermont not too long ago, and there were some cool vegan restaurants there. How you doing?
Very good.
Can I ask you a few questions?
Yeah, I was just wondering what this is.
You okay being in my video?
Oh, no, that's okay. I
No?
represent the hotel, so I was just
Okay.
curious.
All right. Well, it's a live stream, so you're kind of in it already. But if you want to be off camera, you can stand over here.
Okay, I was just curious.
Can I ask you a few questions? Like,
I'd rather
Sure,
if you just tell me what you got going on. Thanks.
I'm just asking about animals. That's it. So.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So animal cruelty, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
How you doing, sir? Can I ask you a few questions?
About what?
It's about animals. Are you okay being in my YouTube stream?
No, thank you.
No? Oh man. Why does that make you say no?
I just don't want to.
Yeah. You can be off camera if you want. People are like, they're so ashamed of who they are or something. Like, it's so crazy to me. It's like, I'll talk to you, but no, not if you're on YouTube. Whoa. It's like, man. I asked my brother, I said, why don't you come out and do a video? And he like freaked out on me about it. Thought everyone was gonna make him look bad and stuff. How you guys doing? Can I ask you a few?
How are you doing?
Great. Can I ask you a few questions for my video?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Are you shooting a video? What kind of video?
Yeah, it's just for my YouTube channel.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it's my first live stream ever.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I
You use
appreciate
a
it.
phone for it?
Yeah, I just use my phone.
Oh, you got a lavalier this one?
I got a mic. You guys can, if you want to hold this, you guys can talk into that one.
Yeah.
And I got mine on my shirt here.
Look into the Mevo camera.
Mevo?
Mevo.
Oh, yeah, that's a great
Okay.
It's a live stream camera.
Yeah, yeah.
It shoots in 4K. You control it with your
Nice,
phone, and then you
nice.
can select a whole bunch of different shots and swap them with your phone. So wide shots, now shots.
Oh
You
yeah.
can even follow someone,
Right. Okay.
and it's like $340. And I got one, and I stream with that.
Nice.
We both have video production degrees.
Oh, cool.
You know,
That's nice.
my website. Go to my website, cowfactor.com.
What is it talking saying in the mic? What was it?
Cowfactor.com.
Okay. Yeah, I'll
It's like
check it out.
cows, you know, but it's,
Right.
it's motorcycle rides.
Right. Oh, cool.
I
Cool.
shoot with a 360 camera, and I do the GPS.
Yeah. Oh, that's Millie right there.
Millie?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
what
nice
are you
name.
going to be asking us?
Yeah.
So how do you feel about animals?
Oh, we like them.
They taste good.
Yeah, they taste good.
Yeah.
That's the first thing you thought of. So, let's see. How do you feel about humans exploiting animals? Like,
I don't like to explain
Yeah,
it.
yeah. No, I don't like the animal experiment stuff.
No.
Right. Do you think that we're exploiting them when we eat them?
No.
No.
Okay.
I mean, really it depends. There's certain places that I'm sure have terrible conditions, certain slaughterhouses.
Right.
If the animal is loved, I think, cared for,
Right.
yeah.
So do you think, though, if we look at it from the whole perspective, from the very beginning, we bring them into existence for our benefit, and then even if we give them a good life and, give them a nice free open field or whatever, but then we kill them at a fraction of their life just for our benefit. Like, we might be trying to give them a good life when they're here, but then when we bring them in and we take them out only for our consideration, do you think that is exploitative still?
No.
Sorry, she's got she loves to walk around and sniff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My dog too.
yeah.
You can let them roam free, and they become targets for cars.
Right. So yeah, I mean, it would be crazy if we just let them all go.
Yeah, I mean,
But
where we come from in Georgia, there is a lot of deer who end up as roadkill, and it's unfortunate.
right.
The thing is, in Georgia, there's so many deer, there's an 11 kill limit per 100 every year. So when it's roadkill, not in places like up north where you're only allowed one, and hunters will go get that roadkill and they will package it,
Right. Yeah.
But down there, no one would pick it up the side of the road.
Yeah.
So I don't hunt myself,
Yeah.
but I allow hunters on my property because I'd rather see somebody use the animal.
Her, on the other hand, she might
instead of it going to waste.
She might wanna.
Right. I mean, do you think that if we're going out there and we're killing them, like we're ending their life before, it's naturally ending, like we're not really considering the animal, we're not really respecting them at that point, right?
Well, no. The way I consider it is, I prefer, if I were in that situation, say an apocalyptic situation where I could die horribly, say there's a zombie apocalypse.
Right.
Like, I'd rather be shot and then eaten than just devoured alive.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunately a truth that happens with animals. Some of them are devoured alive by wolves and stuff, and
Right.
it's not pretty.
Right. Would you agree that most wild animals, though, they just die of natural causes? Most animals out in the wild don't get eaten by other animals. It's only a small fraction.
I suppose so. Yeah. They don't typically die of getting devoured, but there's still other things like cars, disease. Disease is a big one, especially for deer. There's that wasting syndrome thing that can be a big issue, and if that gets into the deer population further, it will affect the deer population dramatically, and that can even affect the cow population. Because they found that if cows eat near those corpses, they get what is mad cow disease.
Right. Okay.
So it's a conundrum. It's a conundrum. I won't lie.
So let's get back to the fact, like the farm animals, like cows and pigs and chickens. How does anything in the wild animals justify how we treat the farm animals? Because they're just innocent animals.
Well, that may be true, but out in the wild, they would once again be the victim to that disease.
They're not out in the wild, though.
If they were, in this hypothetical scenario.
We just bring them into existence, so if we just stopped it from that point, the numbers would just go down until they're not around anymore.
Yeah. I mean, they die off. But it really is a hard problem to grasp, especially me. I'm not really into the whole thing. I do agree animals should be treated better. I mean,
you want to respect animals.
Yeah, I respect her.
Yeah, we should respect all animals, right? There's not really much of a difference between a dog and a cow. Yeah. Especially yours. Yours almost looks like a little cow.
We do say that from time to time. Right? She does love cows.
That's funny.
She wants to meet one real bad. I think she wants to play with it.
Yeah. Did you know cows purr when they get really happy? They purr like a cat.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah, no, I think I heard about that.
You never see that in a factory farm.
Yeah.
But do you know what the definition of veganism is?
I mean, it's basically not eating any animal or using any animal products, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it includes the diet, but it also includes any other products that are made from animals.
How did you get here today?
I rode the bus.
How many animals did that bus run over?
Not any today.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah, maybe at some point.
A lot of bugs on the ground got crushed by that bus today.
Yeah, but that's just like a consequence of an action. It's not like
you made a conscious
based
effort to get on that bus.
Action. Yeah, but I didn't drive over the insects or the animals on purpose. When you eat meat or you eat eggs or dairy, they kill animals on purpose because of that.
Well, I wouldn't say they kill the chicken to get the eggs.
They don't kill the egg-laying chicken, but they kill the male chicks the first day of life because they don't lay eggs. So it's actually sexist. Same thing in the dairy industry with male cows. If it's born a male, it's a waste product because it doesn't produce any milk, so they just kill them.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah.
Most people don't realize that,
I didn't think of the sexism part.
Yeah. So it's sexist what they do to discriminate based on the sex, right? Right? But it's also speciesist to do what we do to the animals because there's no real justification except the species. But morally, that's not a real justification. You know what I mean? So at least I didn't think it was. Most people, when they really think about it, they want to respect animals, but they eat animals, so it's kind of hypocritical,
Yeah.
So that's the best benefit. When you live vegan, then you're not a hypocrite anymore.
Yeah, but I feel like it's hard not to be a hypocrite these days. I mean,
Yeah.
even if I don't live vegan, I still drive a car. I've unfortunately hit some animals. I felt bad about it. Ran over a possum last year. That hurt for a bit.
You feel bad about it, and if you have a chance to swerve out of the way, you're going to try to swerve out of the way,
Yeah,
right?
I always try to.
But then when we eat meat and animal products, we're making sure that next cow or pig or chicken in line is going to get forced into the slaughterhouse.
Yeah. You don't mind me asking that. How successful have you been today with asking these questions? I know this can be like a hard thing to do, and I want to say congratulations to you for actually coming out here. Not a lot of people have that those guts to come out and ask these hard questions. I mean, heck, you're asking me the hard questions. I don't have the answers. Like I said, I'm not as informed as you.
Right. So I just got informed. So you can get informed yourself too. That's why I'm out here. Don't take my word for it.
Yeah.
But do the research yourself, and you can take some information, take a picture of this, and check out some of these links, and you might come to the same conclusion that I am, because I love animals and I want to respect animals just like you.
Yeah. You're gonna extend my parking. Yeah. But no. It's cool you're out here. You're doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would stop you from living vegan today?
I don't know. I mean, I've eaten meat forever.
Yeah.
It is kind of hard to change my lifestyle. And again, I've gone days without eating it. I eat a lot of vegetables.
Yeah.
It's
fruit, vegetables, grains.
Yeah.
Nuts and seeds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose we get to that point where there is like Star Trek replicators that we drink down.
Right?
Yeah, everything's made of water at that point. Yeah. I mean, that. I could see myself trying to make the effort in the future.
Yeah. But I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So
I would definitely have to do my more research on my own, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Okay.
Plant-based. So, if you were in their situation, in the animal situation, how fast would you want it to change?
Yeah, I suppose really fast. Actually, reminds me of a story I read. You might want to check it out. It's called Burger Entries. It's a horror story on the internet.
Right.
It's about a guy. He's documenting an invasion of some aliens.
Right.
Who are causing humans to become addicted to this weird, grotesque alien meat.
Okay.
And over time, the humans eat it more and more. They begin to form something called an egghead, and their heads balloon, their bodies become really skinny.
Wow.
And eventually, the egghead explodes, and there's something that comes out. I'm going to spoil the ending for it, though. So the ending is essentially you find out the humans aren't even food for the alien species. They're actually food for the cattle.
Oh, wow.
There's this whole thing where they go to a cattle, kind of like a cattle facility where they're exterminating cattle. And
wow.
Yeah. No, I recommend anyone check it out.
Yeah.
I don't even think the author was a vegan, but
right.
It came off as kind of a very pro-veganism story, I'd say.
Right.
Even like the ending of the story, the character faces no choice but to eat the meat because he's so hungry.
Wow.
And he has to, and it's all grotesque meat, like he describes, like a can of Coke being a human heart looking thing.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I'll definitely have to check that out.
I mean, yeah. No, I recommend everybody check that one out. It's a really good story. There's a podcast I listened to called Creepcast, where they read it.
Okay.
That's a really good place to read. Also check it out. It's like on creepypasta.org.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. I only have like one or two more questions.
Yeah, sure.
How many? So if you were in their position, you said you wanted to end immediately. Right?
Yeah. I suppose so.
So how many more animals should be exploited for you? Can you give me a number? Should it be more than 0?
Well, I suppose we shouldn't exploit any more animals.
Right.
So
you're going to live vegan from now on?
I'll make the effort. If they shut down the slaughterhouses tomorrow, I wouldn't be angry.
Right.
I'd be able to adapt.
Yeah. Yeah, humans are. Well, that's what we do best.
Humans adapt,
right?
Much like animals. Any animal will adapt. Humans will also adapt. I do think someday meat will be a thing of the past.
Yeah.
We will find an alternative, I think there's grass that they've made that kind of simulates, or a plant that simulates beef.
Yeah. There's tofu is a good option.
Tofu is a good option.
Minimally processed soybeans. And then tempeh is also soybeans that they ferment with a mushroom.
Yeah. I have a bodybuilder friend. I'm kind of asking this question. Hi, Ryan. What's a good vegan bodybuilder diet? If you know what I mean.
So
no shade once again. I'm just curious.
So if you eat a lot of tofu, that's good. It's got good protein.
Good protein. I'm assuming nuts and stuff.
And then nuts and seeds, and seitan is like a vital wheat gluten.
Yeah.
So as long as you don't have a gluten allergy, then that has more protein than some animal products.
Is there any vegan protein powders you can check out?
Yeah, there's a lot that are pea, hemp. What are some of the other ones? They got a lot of different lentils and stuff like that. Is a pretty good source.
Lentils are pretty good.
Some of the vegan protein powders can be a little bit more expensive.
I'm sure, but it's at the same time you change your lifestyle. It's for a good cause.
Yeah. So that's a good if you have the money, that's probably some of the healthier options. Like those plant-based protein powders. But yeah, I really appreciate talking to you.
Yeah, did you have one more question for me?
That was it.
That was it.
How many animals? And then so it sounds like you're gonna live vegan from now on, or at least try it. So you took a picture of this?
Yeah, I got a picture of that. I got your YouTube right here.
Challenge 22. If you want to live vegan from now on, check that out. They send you a different challenge every day, and some of them are recipes. They will hook you up with a nutritionist or dietitian, so you can make sure that you're getting all the nutrition you need. And that's one of the best.
General Sales tofu looks good.
Yeah, you can take this if you want.
Yeah, I'll take that.
It's a good starter kit from PETA. You can if you look this up online, the PETA starter kit. Send them your email. I think they'll send you.
Yeah, I got
another one of these and some other information and stuff.
I got a Discord server. A lot of open-minded people. I'll share it around and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Share my channel with them, and
I'll share your channel as well.
We can. Some of my other friends that do this, they also do Discord debates.
Yeah.
And things like that. So maybe if you or your friends are online, you want to talk again, reach out to me and we can have another conversation.
No, definitely.
And I'm starting some local groups in town. So if you do decide that you're going to be vegan from now on, you can join one of the groups and help me try to spread the word.
Unfortunately, I'm not from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Still, I'll take a look at it.
Where are you from?
I'm from Georgia. Well,
Georgia. Oh yeah, you said
from
Georgia.
Massachusetts, moved to Georgia.
Yeah. A lot of people. Everyone I talked to today was from Connecticut. So
Connecticut.
It would have been funny if you said that.
I've been to Connecticut plenty of times. Yeah. No. Thank you for your time.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, man. No, I'm glad I was able to talk to you. And,
yeah.
It's not every day you get to have a civil discussion, which I really love.
Right. Yeah. You asked me that earlier. Today it's probably about 50-50.
Yeah.
Good conversations to people that. There was one guy earlier. He was like, "Animals are here for us to use, and we have to eat meat. We can't survive without eating meat." And he was just.
Yeah.
You know.
Me myself, I'm religious, but I don't subscribe to like the whole crazy stuff about it. I believe there is a bit of a
Conspiracies is about living Christian and vegan, so you might find that one interesting.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, you have a good one. It was good talking to you.
Yeah, you too. No, you're fine. You're fine. He made up for it.
Did he?
Yeah.
What do you do?
He's just an open-minded, compassionate person.
Just looking at. I just
More than
some
most.
questions of my own. He asked me some questions, and we had a civil conversation.
You ever been to a country where people are starving to death?
We'll say that again.
Have you ever been to a country where people are starving to death?
Starving to death. I mean, no, not exactly.
Well, go to a country and ask them about veganism.
Do you know that even in those places, they mostly eat plants?
No, they don't.
Yeah, they actually do.
No, they don't.
And if we were to eat less animals, they would have more food for those starving people in other countries. So when you eat meat, you're actually taking food out of their mouths.
Come on, Billy. Come
A
on.
lot of the grains and stuff we grow in those countries where they can't eat, we actually grow grains there, and then we take it from them to feed our animals. So if you stop eating animals, you'll actually feed them more food.
I had to be virgin.
Hey, do you want a water?
I'm good, thank you. I got something.
All right, that was pretty good. Did you guys like that one? Thanks, guys, for all your support. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Can I ask you a few questions?
Oh, we're having fun.
It's about food. It'll just take a second. He laughed at that. Yeah, I don't know if you heard the guy when he first walked away to the other side of the street. He was over there and he was like, I'm going to go order a big fat steak. I'll be right back. He was like yelling all sorts of dumb shit. But he wasn't like being like super aggressive about it. He was kind of being playful about it. But, you know, the other guy was definitely receptive and I think he'll look into it some more. So yeah, he made up for it a little bit. If they were both just going to be crappy like that, I would have told him to leave. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard when you see, like, if they were father and son, normally there's another big feed truck going by. Normally they are going to have the same kind of, you know, thoughts. So hopefully he'll go back and talk to him more and either change his mind, or sometimes when you're considering living vegan yourself and you talk to other people like in your family and they're just like against it, sometimes that helps you get there quicker because you realize how crazy they sound when they try to justify things. Last week I went here to One Lincoln with my dad and brother, and they got the vegan options. And hold on a second. When I ask these people, how you doing today? Can I ask you a few questions? You can't hear me. So before we went to the restaurant, my brother said something about getting animal products, I think, or something like that. And my dad said, well, you can't get animal products because your brother's out here doing activism. How you doing? Can I ask you a few questions? Can I ask you a few questions? Cool. Are you okay being in my video?
What kind of videos?
It's just a live stream. Just got a couple questions. Would you want to come a little bit closer? This is your mic. You can talk into that. So, I'm Jake. Are you you're just visiting?
Yep.
Just coming in. Where are you from?
Originally in New York City, now in Forest, Virginia.
Nice. Cool. So, how do you feel about animals?
Love animals. Also
Yeah.
like eating animals.
Right.
Have livestock, so.
You have livestock.
Yeah.
There you go. So, how do you feel about humans exploiting animals?
Part of eating animals, part of being carnivore.
It's part of that industry, and
Yep.
it's you can't really farm animals without like exploiting them.
Yep.
Do you agree with that?
Yep.
Do you think that we should respect animals?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a humane way of slaughtering an animal, and there's an inhumane way of slaughtering animals. I raise animals. I know the ins and outs of it.
So how can you explain that? Like how do you humanely slaughter an animal?
Okay, so perfect example is when you're hunting. You're obviously not going to want to shoot for the stomach. You're going to shoot for an instinct kill. You
Right.
shoot for a limb, is all it's going to do. They're probably going to get away. They're probably going to live. They're probably going to be living in pain, living injured. So I think as a hunter and as a farmer, you're supposed to properly, humanely make sure that they're dispatched as soon as possible in a proper way.
Right. So you want to respect animals.
Yep.
But do you think that we can respect them if we're through those decisions we're exploiting them? We're just considering our benefit. We're not really considering their benefit.
There's a yes and no to that because we're the top of the food chain. So,
Right.
I mean, if someone wants to be vegetarian or vegan, that's up to them. But it's also
So you can agree that you can survive on a plant-based diet? You don't have to eat animals?
you can. I mean, there's definitely benefits to having meat. I don't plan on changing my diet.
What do you think the benefits are of eating meat over plants?
Protein, that's the big one.
You can. Why do you say that? Like you can, because you can get protein out of plants, right? It's just
Not as efficiently. There are studies that prove that meat is a more beneficial diet.
yeah. There's some studies out there that show that meat and plant proteins are similar. So there's not much of a difference. If there is a difference, it's pretty small. So do you think that small difference in protein synthesis is a justification for disrespecting animals?
I mean, it's not going to change how I
Yeah.
grew up eating meat. I raised livestock. I mean, that's
Yeah.
why we buy livestock. We raise them, give them a good life, make sure that they're kept at better standards than a lot of these meat factories. But in the end of the day, they're there for me. I mean, you obviously have pets. You have a pet cow. You have pet chickens. There's always a few
Yeah.
of them that are your pets. But in the end, that's what they're there for us.
For us to use,
Yes.
not with us.
To an extent, yes and no.
So what's the difference between having a pet chicken and farming a chicken? Like, why would you decide to have some of his pets and some not? Would you eat a dog or a cat?
No. Well,
And
In my-
why not? Like,
my
what would be
personal
your-
experience with having the chickens is some of them you just get an attachment to.
Yeah.
You, for example, I've had a couple of pet chickens that went through bad medical issues, and those people end up just
that was the
Most
last guy I
people-
talked to.
most people will end up putting the chicken down and just harvesting it. And sometimes you end up wanting to put the money into it, keep it as a pet. So
Right.
But I got to go check in. So
All right. Yeah. I know. I appreciate you stopping.
you're good. Thank you.
So that was a good conversation there. Did you guys like that one? Yeah, selfish. Plant protein is more efficient. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, how do animals get their protein? That's a good one too. Yeah, that lady came out here. She's about to walk by again. She's like, I work with the hotel. I don't want to be in the video, but you got to tell me what you're doing. Lady. You're in charge of the hotel, right? That includes like the restaurant?
I'm not the general manager of the hotel.
Right. You can put in a good word for the restaurant though to add more vegan products.
Our chef actually vegan primarily, and yeah, if you look at our menu, there actually are a lot of like.
Yeah, I know there's some. I was there last week. The one thing though that I think would make a big difference is vegan cheese. If you guys got a good vegan cheese as an alternative, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that's makes it really good, like cashew potato.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. She said the chef is predominantly vegan. Like it's a diet. But she said that the chef makes a lot of cheese out of potatoes and cashews. So yeah, it sounds like she knows a little bit what she's talking about there. Potato cheese is pretty good. My friend that's a vegan, like she has her own vegan like deli kind of thing. She makes really good potato cheese. How you guys doing?
Good.
Can I ask you a few questions?
Sure.
Are you okay being in my YouTube channel?
What's it about?
Just about animals.
No.
It can only take a couple minutes. All my stuff flew around. I gotta reset it. Wait, he took that one thing, right? It didn't blow away. I have my back turned. Yeah, I could have showed that guy some footage. I wonder if I can try to put that in more towards the beginning of my questions. How you doing? Can I ask you a few questions?
So late for work right now, I'm sorry.
It's all right. Have a good day. So I think the next level I have to get to with subscribers is 500, I think, or 1,000. I think it's 1,000. No. If I get 500 subscribers, I can start doing the memberships. That's what it is. And like super chats and stuff. And then when I get to 1,000 subscribers, it opens the live stream to more people. So until I get 1,000 subscribers, I'm not going to have anywhere near as many views as some of the other streamers. But hopefully I can get up to 500 and incorporate some of that stuff. That guy recommended a camera. I don't have $350 for a camera. I seen the DJI Osmos, I think is what it's called. That's a little cheaper. I might try to save up for that, because that tracks and everything too. But I don't need anything to do that. Like, I can just do this with my phone. Vegan cheese is blue. Yeah, some of them are really bad. That was probably one of the hardest things for me to find, like a good one. How you doing? Can I ask you a couple questions?
I gotta hit some work.
All right. The backpack. Yeah, there's a couple of like cheddar cheese or yellow cheese. Pretty hard to find a vegan version that's good. The chow's my favorite. How you guys doing? Can I ask you a few questions? And then at the Earth Grown brand from Aldi's, they have a mozzarella cheese that's plant-based, that's really good. They have a cheddar cheese too, not good. Like BioLife, I don't like it. Did I ask her already? How you doing? Can I ask you a few questions?
No, I'm very thirsty.
You need a water?
My car.
You want a water?
No, it's right here.
She can't stop and have a conversation or a water because she's thirsty. How does that make any sense? Okay. She could have just taken the water. That's funny. Like the guy earlier, he's like, no, I'm a teacher. I can't talk about animals because I'm a teacher. Yeah, when I come earlier, like today, a lot of people are going to work if they're locals. But if they're tourists, they're normally just walking around trying to look for something to do. But yeah, there's definitely more people a little bit later in the afternoon. I'm a little early today. How you doing? Can I ask you a few questions?
Oh, no, thanks, sir.
I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom soon. How long have I been straight? 2 hours. What time? What time? It's about 12 o'clock. I don't know how much that's done. Do. How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
Good. Would I be able to ask you a few questions for my video?
Sure.
Awesome. Thank you. This is your mic if you want to hold it and talk into it. So my name's Jake. I'm a local. Are you from around here?
Nope, Indiana.
Indiana. Cool. So my first question is, how do you feel about animals?
Got pets of my own.
Yeah, you like animals? What kind of pets do you have?
A dog and a cat.
Dog and a cat? Cool. So would you agree that they have their own experiences and their own personalities?
Yep.
How do you feel about humans exploiting animals?
Like what?
For instance, like in the farming industries, like animal agriculture, do you think that we exploit cows and pigs and chickens?
No.
No? Okay, so could you explain that? Why don't you think that we exploit them?
I think God provided us with some animals that we can eat, some that we can use to work with.
Right, okay.
Transportation, when it started,
So you think that animals are here for us instead of
I think we're
with
all
us
here for each other.
to use?
Well, you're using me right now.
Right, but you agreed to it, right? I didn't
Yeah.
force you.
No.
So do you think we force those animals into slaughterhouses, or do you think that they
do.
choose to go?
They
right?
do.
So do you
But
think that...
I like my steak, and I don't know like where this is going. So
Yeah.
Here you go.
All right. Well, I hope you stop exploiting animals. Can I ask you a few questions now? Sorry. Yep, that guy likes his animal steaks. Said screw those animals. Crazy. How you doing? Can I ask you a few questions? I was just sitting on a bench over there. He doesn't like where the conversation's going. So why don't you think he liked where the conversation was going? Do you think that he felt a little guilty? A little embarrassed? Think he thought that he couldn't come up with a good justification? How you doing? Why are these kids just walking around by themselves? That's kind of weird. And they run across the street. That's so freaking dangerous. Oh my God. Little kids running across the street, not together, but all spaced out. That's how kids get hit by a car. Where are their parents? That's crazy. The last day I was here, I almost got hit by a car in that exact crosswalk. And I was just walking. How you doing, ma'am? Can I ask you a few questions? I don't know if she walked by already or not. I might have asked her twice. I don't want to bother people too much if they walk back and forth. Yeah, that just blows my mind that they were just walking out here by themselves. Oh, you guys, is there a troll in here saying some inconsistent things? This guy carrying. How you doing, sir?
Good, I'm upset.
Good. Could I ask you a few questions?
My meter's getting ready to expire.
All right. Have a good day. The meter again. Everybody says their meter. Now there's nobody walking. Maybe I'll move over there. Yeah, that guy had the argument about starving kids in another country. Like, what the hell is he talking about? Like, they eat meat? Like, do people actually think that in other countries where people are starving that they only eat meat to survive? And the other guy thought that humans started eating meat before plants? Like, that's crazy. Like, why the hell do people think that? It's so weird to me. How you doing?
Good.
Can I ask you a few questions? How you doing, sir? Yeah, another car. Legend. Huh. So humans were actually frugivores, right? When I do more research onto this, we're not really omnivores, right? We're more like frugivores. We eat fruit and nuts and seeds mostly. How you doing? Can I ask you a few questions? You okay being on my YouTube stream?
That's fine.
It's my first one.
All right.
So you want to hold your mic? You can talk into there.
Sure.
So my first question's, how do you feel about animals?
You know, I'm not the warmest for animals. I'm allergic to cat and dog hair, so therefore I try to just, I'm not too close to animals, never had a pet in the household kind of thing.
Right, yeah, okay.
You know?
Yeah, that's interesting. So do you think that it's okay to exploit animals?
No.
Right. So you would agree that we should respect animals?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that there's abuse or exploitation in the animal agriculture industry? Like farming animals?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, definitely.
Do you participate in any of those industries? Like, do you eat meat or animal products?
We eat meat. We buy a piece of a cattle every year. We only eat
Right.
beef, and we buy organic eggs from like the Amish.
Yeah.
And we buy fresh milk and fresh honey. So yeah,
Okay.
we eat a little bit of meat.
Right. So do you think that even if you get it from like a local place or you know where it's like organic, things like that, do you think that it's still exploitative in that process where we kind of bring them into existence and then take them out for our benefit?
Yeah, I think so. But I think that like God created things so that everybody can survive off the land, and I feel that that's provided to eat. My wife's tried to be vegan and vegetarian in the past. I can't imagine a life without protein. Protein from meat, from chicken and beef.
Yeah.
At this point, but honestly, they are exploited, right? They raise animals and kill animals so we can eat them.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So you know what vegan is? That means that it includes the diet, but it also extends to like clothing and other products. So veganism is a stance against that exploitation of the animals.
Yes.
So, like, what would stop you from being vegan? Like, would you agree that you can also get your protein from plants?
Yeah, I'm sure I can. I just have never been strict enough about my diet to get the protein from other places. We eat some lentils and things to try and supplement some of that protein. But
yeah, lentils are one of the big things that I recommend too.
Yeah, we eat lentil soup pretty regularly. It's one way we try to get it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you would be open to learning some more about it and
But yeah, potentially.
Yeah. So if you were in the animal's position, how quickly would you want things to change?
I want them to change quickly so that I wasn't served up on a dinner plate.
Yeah. So I got like one more hard question for you. How many more animals should be exploited for you before you make the change? Should it be 0 or should it be more?
The right answer is 0, but
yeah,
I'm probably a little selfish in that, like, I'm accustomed to what I'm accustomed to.
Right. Just because we've been doing something for a long time, though, that doesn't necessarily justify it, though, right?
No, it does not.
Yeah, I really appreciate you talking to me.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're very open-minded. If you want a little bit more information, you can take any of this stuff, or if you want to take a picture of this, it's got my channel on there.
Yeah, I'll
and
check out your channel.
all these documentaries will teach you some different things, and the bottom one's about religion too. So you might find that one interesting. And the other ones some of them are about your health and stuff. So.
You're vegan, I take it then, yeah?
Yeah. Here, do you want a water, Jim?
Oh, sure, I'll take it. You know if there's a Starbucks in this place?
It's right around the corner.
It's around the corner over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, it's part of it. So the hotel, the restaurant, and the Starbucks, it's all like together. But yeah, so it's just around the corner there.
I hope that's helpful. Sorry, I don't got all the right answers for you.
No, you were great. It sounds like you want to live vegan from now on. That's what you want to respect animals.
Trying to go that route.
you just learn a little bit more. Check out Challenge 22 because they'll work with you like every day, send you a challenge and recipes, and you can talk to a nutritionist to make sure you're getting all the protein and everything you need. So thanks a lot, man. All right, guys, did you like that one? How you doing?
Good, okay.
Could I ask you a few questions? How you guys doing? Could I ask you a few questions? This guy's wearing a lot of green. Green and gold. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Could I ask you a few questions for my video?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on.
I like your bag. This bag had a bunch of different mushrooms on it. Fungi. I see a lot of fungi. This guy's smoking his weed pen. How you doing, sir? Could I ask you a few questions?
Sure.
Could I ask you a few questions for my YouTube channel? How you doing, sir?
Good.
Could I ask you a few questions for my channel?
I'm all set.
From New York. Is that the guy I talked to earlier? Probably be able to do one or two more good conversations here. That's what I'm hoping for. How you doing? Can I ask you a few questions? Can I ask you a few questions for my channel?
What?
It's for my YouTube channel. I'm just asking about animals. Do you like animals?
Yeah.
How do you feel about them? Like in general?
Well, some are in danger.
Yeah. Do you think we should protect them?
Yeah.
Do you think that it's okay for humans to exploit animals? Use them for our benefit without considering them?
No.
So you would agree that we should respect animals, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what the definition of veganism is?
No, never heard of it.
Yeah, so if you live vegan, that means that you are against the animal exploitation. So we boycott industries that abuse and exploit animals. So we don't eat any meat and we don't eat any dairy products or eggs because in those industries, they kill the animal for those products.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you want to respect animals. What would stop you from living vegan?
I guess them being in danger.
So like, do you feel like you have to eat animals to like survive?
Well, you can get your vitamins through something else, like pills and stuff.
Yeah, or plants mostly.
Yeah.
If you eat a varying diet of plants, you can get everything that you need. So if you want to respect animals and you want to live vegan, like would you want to take a little bit of information maybe and learn a little bit more about it, like what the animals go through? And
I know what they do.
yeah, if you were in their position, how quickly would you want it to change?
As soon as possible.
Yeah. So how many more animals should be exploited for you before you make the change? Should it be 0 or should it be more than 0?
0.
Right. So it sounds like you want to live vegan from now on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to take a little bit of this information, you can take any of these, take a picture of this, and check out some of these documentaries here, and it'll show you how you can live vegan. You can respect the animals. You can not be responsible for putting them in slaughterhouses anymore. There's some benefits to your health and to the environment as well too. And if you want water, you can take the water here. And if you're religious at all, one of them down here is about living vegan and being Christian. So you guys want 2 waters?
No.
That's
That's good. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day. Yeah, what did you guys think about that one? She was not as receptive as some of the other people, but I mean, she wants to respect the animals, so like most people do. When you ask them simple questions, they definitely think about it. How you doing, sir?
Good.
Can I ask you a few questions? I think I asked him already too. How you guys doing? Can I ask you a few questions? Yikes. I like that she took some of the stuff though, that's cool. Alright, hopefully one more conversation. Catch back up to what you guys are saying. Definitely losing the shade from the tree now too. There's no way to like pause the stream and then I can like come back in a few minutes. How you doing? How you doing? Can I ask you a few questions? Can't see. If I just end the live stream and start another one, it will obviously separate them. But I don't know if there's a way I can like pause it. How you doing, ma'am? Can I ask you a few questions?
No, thank God. I'm late.
Is that a dog? Oh, it's probably a stuffed animal. This shop right here behind the camera sells a whole bunch of different stuffed animals. Kind of interesting. And then the shop over on the other corner sells fox fur. Like actual dead animals. Alright, I think I'm gonna have to pause real quick, come back. Maybe I'll just leave it going. Put all this stuff together here. How you doing? Can I ask you a few questions for my video? Sure, awesome. Here, this is your mic if you want to talk into that.
Okay.
So I'm Jake.
Hey, Jake.
Are you, what was that?
I'm Alan.
Alan, nice to meet you. Are you a local or are you visiting?
No, from Florida.
From Florida, cool. So my first question is, how do you feel about animals?
I love animals.
Okay.
I'm an animal lover for sure.
Yeah, me too. So do you think that humans exploit animals? Do you think it's okay that we exploit animals in some industries?
I mean, I think we could do a better job of
Right.
kinder to animals for sure.
Yeah, so you agree we should respect animals?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, do you know what living vegan is?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, what would be your definition of veganism?
Veganism would be, I mean, you could do it for a couple of reasons, you know, health reasons or moral reasons, but veganism would be if you don't eat anything that comes from an animal, you know,
Right.
a living animal.
Right. So that's pretty close. It includes the diet, but it extends to other things too. So the definition is a stance against the exploitation or oppression of
Sure.
the animals.
I understand that.
So yeah, it includes the diet, but then it's also like anything else that's tested on animals or that we get from animals. So it sounds like you want to respect animals. What's stopping you from living vegan? Is there anything specifically?
Yeah, it's just not my thing, you know. You know, I'm happy with the way I'm doing things, you know.
But you can admit that when you're supporting these industries, that you're in a way responsible for exploiting the animals, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. So you know what the number one benefit is of living vegan?
What's that?
Then you're not a hypocrite anymore. So that was the conclusion I came to, because I was just like you. I want to respect all animals.
Sure.
I don't see any difference between farm animals and pets. You know, nothing that justifies the way that we treat them. So if you were to put yourself in the perspective of the animal, how quickly would you want things to change?
Yeah, I mean, I understand where you're going, you know.
Yeah.
So I understand your perspective and your viewpoint. I respect that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not just my perspective, but it's from the perspective of the animals, you know?
Right.
So each animal's their own individual. Would you agree that like animals have their own personalities and their own experiences?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So how many more animals should be exploited before you make the change? Should it be more than 0?
Well, I mean, it's just not as simple as your you know, in my opinion.
I know from
lived
our
for
perspective.
thousands of years.
Yeah.
Off the land and eating animals, you know, and vegetables.
Yeah.
And fish, you know. I
Right.
understand.
From our perspective,
I
sure,
don't
there can
disagree
be
with what you're saying.
kind of a scale of things, you know, it affects our health, it affects other things, but when you look at it from the perspective of the animal, it's pretty black and white. When we support those industries, an animal's going to die. If we don't support those industries, then there's
Right.
you're not supporting them. So
yeah, I'm
you know
not
what I
in a
mean?
position to have a farm and raise my own vegetables and meat,
Yeah.
poultry. You know, I'm just not in a position to do that. But
Yeah, most people aren't,
Yeah.
you know? So it's
I
not,
think that's the way it should be. I wish it was that way, you know.
even if we were doing it ourselves and we got them in our backyard and we're taking better care of them, if we're bringing them into existence for us and then we're taking them out of existence for us, is that ethical or moral, do you think? Is that actually respecting them?
I just think that's the way of the world. That's how we survive, you know.
Does it have to be, though? Just because we've been doing something for a really long time, that doesn't really justify it, right?
Right. But I mean, I get your point. I respect your point.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna end the interview here. I got some stuff to do.
Okay. Yeah. I appreciate it. If you want any more information, you could take a picture of this and see other conversations like this, or these documentaries will show you
I've seen some of those.
what happens. Some of them are about health. The bottom one's new, and it's about religion. So if you're religious, you might want to check that one out. And if you want to take any of this stuff, it was a little windy, so I started to pack it back up.
Good. I'm good.
But
I'm very familiar with what you're doing and why you're doing it. I think it's good.
Yeah, just don't forget to just think of it from the perspective of the animals. You know, they would want it to change immediately. And the whole world's not going to go vegan overnight, but you could change overnight. You know, individuals can do that. So.
All right, man, appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it too. Thank you. You want a water?
No, thank you. Yeah.
All right, what did you guys think about that one? That one was pretty good. How's the video quality? The video is not like too blurry, is it? Because normally I use the other camera on the back. That's a better quality. I was worried about this one being worse. And is the live skipping at all? Because I was worried about my data also, but I think my data just reset for the month, so I'll have to see how much data this uses while I'm doing this. Oh, this is such a pretty dog coming up. I hope she talks to me. The dog's got like a little limp. Oh my goodness. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Can I ask you a few questions for my video?
No, thank you.
Aw. Pretty dog. That's another thing I want to have one day. I want to bring some dog treats and give some dog treats out to some of the people that have dogs. How you guys doing? Can I ask you a few questions? Going to lunch. So that was the second person that said they were familiar with vegan. And he just thought it was more of a diet, so I don't think he was actually as familiar with it as the other lady. She said she was actually an activist. How do you go from an activist back to eating meat? I mean, I guess the health issues explains it, but I wonder how many, steps and other things that she went through as plant-based before she went back to eating meat. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, can I ask you guys a few questions for my video?
For your video?
Yeah, it's just my YouTube channel. It's my first ever live stream. So there's only a couple people on it.
Kind of cool.
Yeah.
What is this for?
This is your mic. If you want, you can hold that and talk into it. So it's just going to go on my YouTube. It's just a kind of a thought experiment to get people to think a little bit. My first question is how do you guys feel about animals?
Love them.
Yeah, me too.
Love animals, for sure.
Do you think that there's industries that we participate in today that exploit animals?
I'm not in favor of that at all. When I saw what happened to the little beagles,
yeah,
that was a disgrace.
Yeah, they're ending that now, right?
Yes, they're ending that. Fortunately.
Yeah.
Fortunately.
So, how do you feel about other animals like livestock, farm animals, cows, pigs, and chickens? Do you think that it's wrong to exploit them?
In what way?
So, I mean, it starts at the beginning, really. So, do you think that bringing them into existence for our benefit is exploitative?
So we're carnivores, so I guess.
Right.
Well, I think it's a necessity for the humans to have some sort of a meat source. It's sad. I don't disagree with that. I don't know how farmers do it. I give them kudos for what they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a necessity in life for many of us. That said, it is sad.
Would you be open to being wrong about that?
Wrong about what?
That we need animals to survive.
Okay, so at our age, we're not making a change. So
yeah.
Oh, why not?
I see where you're going. With it. I see where you're
85
going
years
with this.
old.
It's not
As a
gonna
guy,
happen.
85 years old, that was not going to make a change.
We don't eat a lot of meat to begin with, but
Why
what
is
we
that?
do have, just because we don't eat a lot of food to begin with. We eat a lot of seafood, which is still animals.
Yeah, sure.
But you have a small portion, 5 to 7 ounces a day, that kind of thing. But
So multiple
it's
times a
still
week.
every day, almost every day.
So
It's a good protein.
It's a good protein. We need protein.
So there's some studies out there that show that plant-based proteins are just as good as meat proteins. There's might be a slight difference, but do you think that if there's just a slight difference in the protein, that it justifies like disrespecting the animals, exploiting them?
I don't really see. I don't know if I'm saying it's just you're exploiting them.
Yeah, they're a food source, and hunters have used animals for years and years and years, not just for food, but for clothing, for other things.
Right. But if we have other alternatives,
there are alternatives, and it has been reduced substantially.
Right.
But I still don't have a problem with using a meat source.
Well, just like a minute ago, you said that you didn't like it.
I don't like it. If I had to kill the animal myself, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, me neither.
But the fact that it's there, I will still use it.
Right. So
Kind
you
of
pay
hypocritical, but
you pay somebody else to kill the animal. Yeah, and it is
basically
right. So and I appreciate
the same
that.
way I pay somebody else to sew my clothes, and to make the fabrics and do everything.
When you pay an industry that's making your clothes and they're paying a person to make your clothes, that person has a choice, right? Like they're not enslaved to make your clothes.
Yeah.
When
You've heard of slave labor, right?
Sure,
In other countries, you have young
very
children
sad, very sad.
Yeah,
So
and
very
that's not
sad.
good either.
We try not to do that, but at the same time, it is a reality in life, and the animals do serve a purpose in many regards.
So in those industries where they use like child labor, that's exploitative, those industries don't depend on that exploitation, right? So if you can go to another industry and buy clothes from another company that doesn't do that, and that company that's exploiting the children could shut down and open another company and exploit children with that company too.
Yeah.
But when we eat animal products, there's no way of getting animal products without exploiting the animal, especially with meat when that animal's going to die for that product.
It's true.
So, and then even with eggs and dairy, they kill.
What would you do with all these animals then?
So just let them roam and range.
No, not necessarily. I mean, the world's not going to go vegan overnight, right? So as we slowly change, we'll slowly bring less animals into existence. So that they would eventually die off and go extinct because they're not.
See, I don't appreciate that either. I want them to stay. I think they would continue to stay the way horses do.
Right, in the wild.
In the wild, and
So
leave them alone. Bison came back.
Yeah.
All of that.
So I guess you're
But the
you're not for
domesticated-
people having pets either, like dogs and cats. And
Not buying it from a breeder.
okay,
I would
that's a
support
whole
it.
new, discussion there.
Yeah. I mean, like if you have an animal that you rescued from a worse situation and you treat the animal well, and all the decisions that you're making throughout that animal's life, you're putting the animal first.
Absolutely.
over money or
We do that with
over
our dogs and cats.
other
and
decisions.
pets.
Right. That's what most people do with their pets. So I think that we shouldn't segregate like the different species. I think that we should just treat them all
That
with
would be a utopia.
base level of
But
respect.
the reality is, we have a lot of people to feed, and until they can make some sort of an alternative that's worthwhile. Most of the stuff
Yeah.
I've tasted is just not.
So it comes down to taste, right?
A lot of it has to do with taste. A lot of it has to do with protein replacement. I mean,
Yeah.
like I personally am allergic to soy, so soy
Okay.
products I can't have.
Are you
So-
allergic to gluten?
No, I'm not allergic to gluten.
So
That's
if you
not a
can't have,
protein.
yeah, it is actually.
Is gluten a protein?
If you take if you extract gluten out of flour, the gluten is just straight protein. So it's vital wheat gluten. You can get it at the grocery store and just mix it with water, and you steam it and it makes a little loaf. It's just straight protein. There's more
Yeah.
protein in that than some animal
It's
products.
not going to taste like an animal product, though.
And it's,
No way you
it's
can convince me
the
that.
amount of protein you would get from an animal product.
The protein in the seitan is equal or more than an animal product.
Well, when
But
they
the
start
taste-
creating products that are widespread and available like that, we
Yeah,
could
yeah.
definitely try it. But
Yeah. They're out there. You gotta look for them a little bit. And
now you got to look for them. We really.
yeah.
My idea of shopping is to be in and out in 45 minutes max.
Yeah, I don't shop that long.
I
It takes
hate
me
it.
less time than that. So
Yeah.
actually, when I go to the grocery store, all my stuff is the fresh produce area, and then I have one aisle that I go down. I don't even go down the rest of the store.
Yeah.
So I'm in, I grab 2 bags, and I'm out, and that's it. And there's different like levels on price too. So like there's expensive meats you can buy. There's expensive
Right.
plant-based meats you can buy, but then there's like cheaper protein sources like lentils and legumes and other stuff like that.
And we do that. We
Yeah.
have that, but we do like our meat. I unfortunately have to admit.
You don't have to apologize.
I'm not apologizing. I admit it.
Yeah,
It's
you
just-
apologize. You can apologize to the animals, you know. It's like
If I only had met them, they wouldn't have died. But I'm starving
Yeah.
for lunch now. I don't know what I'm going to have, but I'm going to get up lunch now.
yeah. Just you can choose the plant-based options, and then you know
I'll
that
look into it.
an animal didn't have to get exploited. So
Yeah, I would look
are you
into
guys
that a
going
little bit.
here, or
Yeah.
they have a good plant-based burger here?
Yeah,
Do
I
they?
yeah, I don't.
Well, that's a good idea then.
Take care.
Thank you. Good luck with your endeavors. You're
Yeah.
doing worthwhile.
Yeah, thank you.
Very worthwhile.
All right, what'd you guys think about that one? They just started cooking some stuff in there. I can smell it. How you doing, sir? Can I ask you a few questions? Oh yeah. Gotta get the video. Hi ladies. Can I ask you a few questions for my video?
I think I've already talked to you.
Oh, yeah. It's nice to see you again. I was looking at the other lady. Yeah, she's the one that I just talked to the other day. I was here. That's funny. I didn't recognize her. I should have looked at her more. So I was just looking at the other lady because she was talking. Oh, now she stopped and pointed at me. They're talking about it. Oh, they're going different directions. I do want to talk to her again. How you guys doing? Can I ask you a few questions for my video?
Yeah, we're okay.
I'm not seeing anything in the chat. I don't know if nobody's chatting or my chat's frozen. How you doing, sir? Good. Can I ask you a few questions?
Sure.
Also, you okay being in my YouTube stream?
No, it's just no.
You can be off camera if you want to just stand over here.
That's okay. All right.
All right.
What are we doing?
So my first question is, how do you feel about animals?
I love animals.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Me too. So do you think that there's industries that we participate in that exploit animals?
Yeah, I'm going on one later this year.
Right? Yeah. What's that?
Safari.
A safari?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
But I don't think it exploits the animals. I think it also protects them as well.
You're just going to, like, see them?
Oh, yeah.
Like, tour? You're not going to, like, hunt animals or anything like that, right? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a little crazy when people go out and, like, hunt, like, exotic animals or whatever. Like,
I think it's disgusting, to be honest.
Yeah, so you would agree that we should respect animals?
Absolutely.
Okay. So what's your definition of veganism?
Well, that's a tough question, I think. There's somebody who loves his food. You know,
Right.
It's tough, but I think anybody who wants to go vegan, I think there's plenty of nutrition out there in that respect.
Yeah, so veganism includes the diet, right? Like a plant-based diet. So we don't eat any meat or any dairy or any eggs, but then we also don't like wear any fur or use any other bath or beauty products that are made from animals or tested on animals. So we try to look for the vegan label or the cruelty-free label. So if you want to respect animals, what's stopping you from living vegan?
Lifestyle, I suppose.
Yeah, just
it's a change of lifestyle. I think it's something. Yeah, I'm 76. It's not difficult to change, but I think it's more of a. I like the idea that people put it forward to the younger generation. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I think that we've done enough to destroy the planet as it is. So.
Yeah.
Me, I feel like I'm too old.
Yeah.
I don't.
That's kind of what the last person said, though. But there's a person that I saw is 85 years old that's making the change. So that
tells you everything.
That's the oldest person that I've seen that's doing it. So and that's older than most people that I talk to. So
put it this way: it's food-wise, it's not a difficult thing to do. I don't think.
Right. Yeah, it's like it's really not that hard to do. So I really appreciate you saying that. It's just that step. You know, it's like. Yeah. And doing anything, it's always just like getting started is like kind of the hardest part. But once you do a little bit of research and you taste a couple of recipes that you really like and you want to make them over and over again, then it becomes really easy. Especially if you think of it from the perspective of the animals, like how quickly would you want things to stop?
Yesterday.
Right. Exactly. So that's my biggest regret. Is that I didn't go vegan sooner. And do you know what the number one benefit is when you become vegan?
Health, probably.
So there's a lot of benefits. The number one, in my opinion, is you stop being a hypocrite. Because I love animals, I want to respect animals, and I can't do that if I'm eating them. You know? So that's why I'm vegan. I think most other people have the same kind of morals, but they just don't really know better or how to make the change. So that's what I'm out here doing, trying to see people like the urgency of it. Like you said, it should have stopped yesterday. So like how many more animals should be exploited for you before you change? Should it be more than 0?
No, but I don't. I mean, it's very complex. I think it's a very complex question from a worldwide point of view, but one step at a time, I suppose, is how you can look at it. So.
Yeah, so if we zoom out from a global perspective, I agree. We got to take small steps, but those small steps are going to come from individuals like us changing overnight. So when we change individually and we make other people change, then that will slowly create, a vegan world. Right. Where we stop exploiting these animals. So it's not gonna change the whole world overnight, but we can change overnight.
Yes, we can. So
yeah.
Question. Quick question, Jake.
If you want to take a picture, this is my channel, and these documentaries will show you more stuff in the industry about your health and a little bit about religion. So,
and what's this?
And the environment. So it's what we do to these animals is speciesist. So, and there's some stuff here. I had to put it underneath because it was blowing away. But take that one. And there's some other stuff here if you want to take some other stuff.
I'll just take this. I'll put it this way. I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Yeah. I mean, we all should be open-minded, and you know, just because we've been doing something for a long time doesn't mean we need to continue doing it.
That's a very interesting part.
Yeah. So that is one of the films that made me go vegan. It just came out like last year, so I've only been vegan for about a year. And the guy that did that investigation, he went into the slaughterhouse for pigs, where they actually gas the pigs to stun them or kill them. It's a gas chamber, and they put like 5 or 6 pigs in there, and they drop them down into this like elevator where it goes down where the gas is, and they scream and cry, and it's horrible. And it's like 85 or 90% of all the pigs go through like a gas chamber. And so, yeah, the industries, they try to hide this from you. They don't want you to know, because if you knew, everyone thinks they're happy animals and they humanely die, but we're practically torturing all these animals, and it's
Jake,
pretty crazy.
I appreciate it. I enjoyed talking to you.
Yeah, you too.
I gotta take this stuff up here, up top, and then
Would you like water?
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
How you guys doing? Can I ask you a few questions?
Yes.
For my video? Awesome.
Absolutely.
Here, you guys can talk into that mic.
Okay.
So I'm Jake.
Hi, Jake. Hi, Jake.
Are you guys local or?
Yes.
Oh,
He's
that's
not.
cool.
He's from out. We are.
Oh, cool. But that's not far. So, how do you guys feel about animals?
We love animals.
I love animals.
I love animals.
She has so many animals.
I do.
All right, great.
That's a really cool shirt.
Thanks.
I do like that.
That is, I love
This is
that.
like my favorite shirt.
I can see why.
You would wear that.
I would wear that.
All right, so do you think that we participate in any industries that exploit animals?
Oh, yes.
Honestly, probably.
Yes,
That.
100%.
I'm
No,
trying
like,
to buy like makeup that's not tested on animals.
no,
Right.
but even just like food, it's just like anything. I mean,
Yep.
Animal
Even eggs
milks.
and milk.
Yeah.
Like they kill chickens for eggs and they kill cows for milk. It's kind of crazy.
and we're
I
a
do
big
like a good
dairy
steak, though.
producers, but there's a lot of
Yeah.
nice dairy farms around here
Yes.
in Biglerville.
My uncle owns a dairy farm.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So do you think that we can exploit those animals, or do you think that we can eat animal products and still respect them?
We can definitely still respect them. My family is big into hunting, and I feel more comfortable eating deer or venison that we've killed than like actual buying it from the store.
Because at least you use
Right.
everything.
Yes. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you're out there doing that for sport rather than just
Yeah.
taking the easy way.
Yes.
Right. So if you think that getting your meat, like hunting for your own meat, is better than buying it from the store, do you think that if you were to just eat plants instead of killing the animal, that would be better?
I don't think I could ever be a vegetarian. I
do.
like my burgers.
Yeah.
too.
I don't think that I could ever give it up, but I feel like we should find ways to make it more humane and
Absolutely.
better for the living conditions of every being on this
Right.
earth.
So do you think there's a humane way to kill an animal?
Probably not.
Well, no, if you're eating the meat of the animal, it's not humane, but also animals are here for us to eat.
That's
We're
true.
the apex predator.
Do you think that animals are here for us, or do you think that they're here with us?
They're here with us, but we are apex predators. We're at the top of our food chain, so we do eat. It's predator and prey relationships.
Would you feel like that in the middle of the jungle, or like in
Yeah.
the middle of the
if I had
ocean?
to fight to
Well,
survive-
yeah.
Would you be the apex predator there?
No.
No, not the.
No, I would not. I would not be able to fight up against a lion.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe not.
jungles
don't have lions. Jungles have
Well,
tigers.
yeah, but like in the deserts, that's scary.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles, I guess.
Yeah.
So would you guys agree that you can survive on a plant-based diet, though?
We could.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could survive. I don't know if I'd be too happy, but you could survive.
So the only justification that you guys are coming up with really is like taste, right? You think, is that what?
Yeah.
Do you think your taste is more important than the animal's life?
I'm not saying that it's more important. I think more that I just prefer it, and it's something that, like, if there's a deer dead in my house, then I'm gonna eat it.
Right. But you don't go out and kill the deer, though, right? You just
I've been out hunting, but usually my family provides that, rather than me personally.
I don't think I could ever hunt. I would just be sad.
Yeah. So do you know what the definition of vegan is?
Eating plant-based foods that, like, no animal products.
Right. Yeah. So it includes the diet.
Yeah, not like dairy products or anything like that.
Yes.
Yeah, but then it extends to like clothing or like bath or beauty products.
Yeah, no leather.
Yeah, no fur.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So to live vegan is a stance against the animal exploitation.
Yes.
So full stop. So if you guys, it sounds like you want to respect animals, right? So like, what's stopping you from living vegan? Just the taste? Like, a lot of the taste comes from seasonings and sauces, so you can get a lot of similar taste from plants, right?
It's not really a taste. It's more of like the hardiness and like the protein of it. I don't like tofu. I don't like substituting everything for beans.
Yeah.
I don't personally think I would love it, but I think that people who do it are smarter and stronger than I could ever be, so I wouldn't do it.
I disagree. I think you could do it, but there's also seitan. It's like gluten. So if you don't have a gluten allergy, you can eat that as an alternative. It's just as much protein as animal products, or even more. So protein, like, you can get protein from plants too. What about fat? Yeah. Yeah, so you can get a lot of fat from plant products too. Nuts and seeds, they have fat in them. So there's tofu has fat in it too. If you are eating tofu, what? Yeah, I eat a lot of tofu. Yeah.
Right. I think we do have to go.
So if you were in the animal's position, how quickly would you want things to change?
I mean, I'm not. So,
I don't know. I just, like you said, it's just like kind of the way for couples.
Yeah, I mean, animal cruelty is everywhere, and I don't want to see it, and I don't want it to happen.
But you support it. When you buy animal products,
Technically, yes, but I'm not.
you're responsible for animal exploitation and abuse.
And I will take that in, but I mean, there's exploitation everywhere.
Right, but you don't have to. You don't have to support it.
If you drive a car, then that's also polluting our planet too.
Yeah, sure, but that's not like that.
But
you might have to do that to do your basic needs
Yeah,
in
so
life.
then
though,
I
right?
might also have to eat, like if I'm at college and I don't have money for food and I go to the dining hall and all they have is like burgers, then
They probably have a plant-based option.
sometimes our dining hall doesn't really. But
What about animals that would never come to exist if it wasn't for slaughter?
Thank you, guys. Yeah, so we bring all the animals into existence, right, for our benefit?
Some.
Yeah. I mean, the cows, pigs, chickens.
Yeah, there's some. What's your name?
Jake?
Jacob. Tim.
Tim?
Tim. Good to meet you.
You said Tim?
Tim. T-I-M.
Okay. I didn't want to get it wrong.
I appreciate that.
But yeah, you can, if you want to hold this mic, you can talk into this mic so the audio is better.
Come on. I'll do this.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I got mine on here too.
Yeah, I do like the shirt.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, it's a shame, like, I wouldn't want to be in a slaughterhouse. I find it disgusting.
Right.
But it's just like Christmas trees, you know. Oh, you can't cut down Christmas trees. Well, they wouldn't have been planted if it wasn't for harvest.
True.
And it comes with animals. And although I am shying away more from red meat,
yeah,
you know, I used to love red meat.
Right.
My wife, my stepdaughter's excessive, I think. My wife's, she doesn't, I picked up the burp. She doesn't do red meat. But it's a food chain.
Right. Well, why does she not do red meat?
I think just because of her daughter.
Okay. So is it,
it's more like a respect thing, I guess.
Is her daughter vegan?
What's the next level?
Vegetarian.
No, she's vegan.
Okay.
So vegetarian, vegan is more extreme.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so she's
So vegetarian is a diet where they don't eat meat. Veganism is more of a moral principle against exploitation.
She moved to California. We're from Cleveland. And I think in California, there's a different flavor in the air.
Yeah, yeah.
And you got to be on a crusade or be in therapy for something.
Right.
You know, it's just how it is out there.
Yeah.
So she's in therapy for her white guilt. And she's a vegan. And she also works in something with LA County, taking care of homes and doing the promotions for animal rescues and things like that.
Yeah, that's all.
She's a good kid. 33 now, but so she kind of shed a different light on it. But you need to eat meat. You got to eat meat.
Why do you think we have to eat meat?
I don't think it's because it was something that was instilled in us as children. I think it's because there's a food chain. Because now meat is in such poor shape now. We shouldn't be eating it. But in a natural state, I think we need to eat meat. And you don't need that diet where it's 3 meals a day and but I think
like raw meat and stuff.
Yeah, I think you need some meat in your diet.
Right.
And
So-
it's a convenience.
Yeah, it's definitely convenient. So that's when I really dig into it. The two things that I see everyone justifies it with is convenience and taste.
Taste is hard.
There really isn't any other
I like the
justification.
taste of pasta.
Right, yeah. Well, pasta's vegan. You know, you can make vegan pasta pretty easily. So, none of those reasons really justify morally what we do to those animals. You know.
You know,
like even if we were treating them better and they weren't in the factory farms, if we're
how
still
do you treat them better? You're killing it.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
You know what I mean? It's a horrible thing.
Like the backyard farming, people think that backyard farming is good, but it's not. Like factory farming's bad, backyard farming's good, but it's not. They're both bad.
You know, most people are stupid, right? Have you discovered that working standing out here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with that. I don't think I'm smarter than most people either. Like I can be dumb too, but yeah, there's.
But at least you're going to seek out knowledge.
Right. That's what I think. I think everyone's just as smart as everyone else. The only thing that makes you smarter than other people is being more open to ideas and trying to retain that information.
I'm open to learn something from you. I'm open to it. Teach me something.
Yeah. So I can just go through my questions. You probably heard most of them with them. But the first one is like, how do you feel about animals? Like, do you think we should be respecting them?
You're going to eat your dog?
Do you think? Well, exactly. Would you ever put your dog through a farmhouse?
You don't. You give it a spot on the couch and bring it to bed with you.
Right.
Right. So that doesn't really make sense. It's pretty hypocritical.
Yeah. When your dog's gonna pass, we euthanize them, and then even when your dog passes,
I don't want to talk about that.
Right. Like, why don't we eat our pets after they pass away and actually use them? Because we just waste the meat.
Right, because we love them.
So would that be more is it more disrespectful? Is it more disrespectful to not eat them?
Do you think that there's
or to eat them? Because we do both. And it's the opposite. It's completely hypocritical.
So let me ask you this, and you're doing this, what do you think? Do you think that there's a better way?
Yeah,
not plants. For the animals.
What do you mean for the animals? Well, yeah, I think if we just ate plants, it would be better for the animals. But
say we're going to eat some meat. I won't eat veal. I can't stand the thought of that animal being stuck in that cage. But yet I'm like, okay, here's a good example. There's a fawn I found outside my window just this past 3 days ago, before I left Cleveland. And I'm looking at this fawn, and I'm bringing it water, and I'm putting up a board so my dogs can't. Then, when it's 6 months old, I'm going to shoot it.
Right.
Because now it's eating my plants. It's going to cause damage to the vehicle. What sense does that even make?
Yeah.
I've caught myself doing it, and I'm like, I joked with my buddy. I said, I'm going to make sure it's nice, safe, and sound so I can kill it in 6 months.
Right, yeah. That's crazy.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. So,
but I think as humans, we do need, you have to control the population of deer.
Right.
You know,
Do you think there's other ways to control the population besides killing them, though? Like, there's like contraceptive.
I don't know. Like, that's out of my pay scale. But I think that killing them and using everything for survival, for the greater good of the world, you're gonna kill it. Do something with it.
Right. I mean, I see where you're coming from.
I'm not saying
Like,
killing is the right answer.
Right. Exactly. So
But
it's
do
like
something with it if you do.
that makes sense. And if you're vegan, it means respecting the animals as much as possible. So like if you're in a survival situation and you're gonna die or you have to eat meat, then yes, maybe you can justify it in that case.
Sure.
But 95% of the people on the planet shop at a grocery store. They can just go in and choose the alternative. So what's that?
It's the worst meat you can buy. That meat will kill you.
Yeah,
Animals actually get even with you killing and eating it.
Yeah, that's the number one call. Like the top 3 causes of death, I think, are all like they can all be. If you eat animal products, it makes all 3 of them worse. I can't think of the word I'm trying to use.
You know how much better my health would be if I didn't eat the way I did?
I mean,
9 years old, I like shit.
Yeah, most people could probably eat better, myself included.
Compared to me.
But I've been on a health focused journey, you could say, kind of, for like a couple of years.
How old are you?
I'm 33. So a couple years ago, I didn't exercise. I barely slept. I drank a lot of alcohol. I ate a lot of fast food. Yeah. Now, yeah, I'm sober. I've been sober for like 4 years, 5 years. I smoke weed. Yeah. Yeah.
So
But I don't do anything else. But like, I have my own medical card, so I go to the dispensary. You know what I mean? I do everything like legit. So I'm trying to smoke less. I do smoke. I'm trying to just eat the edibles. You know what I mean? Because that's better for you from a health perspective.
Let me flip the script. What makes you think that it's okay to smoke weed to catch a buzz? Wouldn't that equate to me thinking it's okay to eat a hog?
Well, I think you're not exploiting an animal. You know what I mean? Like cannabis is just a plant. So.
But it was put here.
But I mean, that's like plants don't have sentience. That's where we distinguish. Like that's where we draw the line.
Can you imagine being in a slaughterhouse? They walk up and they pop them in the head, drop them.
Do you want to see some of the footage? No. I have some on my phone.
No, I need a steak later.
Get a plant-based steak.
But you know, they pop in the head. Imagine being the cow next to them.
Yeah. So they're not supposed to really. You're not like in some of the places, and I think halal slaughterhouses it's specifically too. They're not supposed to show like the cow, like the ones before them being slaughtered, but like they don't follow any of those rules in most of the places.
The Holocaust.
Right.
You know, they didn't know when they were going in to take a shower.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the ones in the back are dragging them out.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like this. Jews there, they